Right now for the Capitals Talk, CP3 live from the lab with RobbieG and AnnaK, talking, recapping caps, and giving live look-ins on the Florida Capitals game that's going on right now. The Florida's on the power play right now with 56 seconds left. They're up 1-0 with 2:23 left in the first period. And Anna, how are you doing tonight?
Oh, I'm doing well. There's nothing like being a teacher on an April Fool's Day. I'll just tell you that much with the students.
I could imagine.
Hey, pranks. How are you? You guys are good? It sounds like you had a great episode or segment just now with Dugenet, which sounded awesome.
I appreciate that. Yes, ma'am. I'm in here. Got a couple of adult beverages going. Got the Facebook Live feed going. We'll be talking some DC sports for the Season 4 premiere Sports on the Hill podcast. Our anniversary just passed, 3 years on the air. You know, it feels good to, be established in this DC sports media that's so cluttered with BS and anonymous sources. I love to bring talent like you, like Dugenet, like Robbie to the air with our true insight and knowledge and really talking about sports and not talking around sports. So let's go ahead and get into this Capitals recap. I know we ran a little long on draft talk. We might run a little long in Caps talk before we get into NCAA because it's the prime time of the year. NHL playoffs right around the corner, and the Caps trying to clinch the division and get that home ice advantage in the first round and beyond. So let's go ahead and recap some of the week that was with the Capitals and some of the outstanding performances by some of these players, and Ovi once again breaking records and tying records and doing all types of things.
Absolutely, and this was a fantastic week. So when I was going through my write-up, I thought this is one that congratulations to you guys on your fourth season, and what a great way to recap on this end with the win. So we'll go ahead and start off with the Carolina game from last week. You have the only goal in the first period goes to TJ Oshie at 16:29 for his 23rd, assisted by Kuzi, which was his 46th, and Hagelin's 12th. And then Hamilton was the only goal in the second period at 15:38. And then the third period was all Washington, starting with the captain scoring his 49th at 4:31, followed by Carlson scoring his 13th assisted by Orlov and Kuzi. And there was just that heartfelt moment of how humble John Carlson can be when the team acknowledges how kick-ass he really is. And at 17:33, Backstrom gets his 19th with an empty netter, giving the Caps the 4-1 W. So, and this game, I have to say, even they played Carolina twice in the same week, and I think one of the best things that came out of it was just strictly the fact that there were 1 or 2 penalties per game. And that, to me, then it's fun hockey. It's skill hockey. It's not tripping and making stupid mistakes and whatnot. So yeah, and this game in particular, there was only 2 penalties, and they were both against Carolina. So and I think for fans of Caps getting into the playoffs and Holtby, this is it. This is, I think, this is the kickoff to us seeing him 100% in the zone. And how can you not love that? Number 70, he's awesome.
Yeah, there's been some question about him this year from some of the NHL analysts that I've been, that I always pay attention to, saying that he isn't as crisp or as sharp. I don't see that, but, critics are what critics are. But this team played well. You got scoring from Oshie, from Ovechkin, from Carlson, from Backstrom. I mean, you're getting contributions from the superstars and the playmakers. But in some games that we're going to talk about, you get some from the, second and third line and fourth line guys. So I think this team is getting ready to, lock it in, ready for these playoffs. And unfortunately, like we talked about, they're down 1-0 at the end of the first, but they're looking to clinch the division and looking to repeat and go back-to-back. Robbie, what did you take away from the first game against Carolina and their home-and-home back-to-back? That wasn't really a back-to-back.
But it was really good. I was really happy. I was particularly happy the fact that it was a nationally televised game, so I could watch it in Texas. But I thought Holtby played fantastic. Kuzi with the 3 assists was fantastic. fantastic. Ovi, inching ever closer to 50 goals. So I just thought all around it was a really good game against a really tough Carolina team who had been playing really well as of late, but unfortunately also lost the game against Pittsburgh yesterday, which would have been really big for Caps fans. But we'll get into the playoff implications at the end of this segment. But overall, I thought that we played well against a really good team, and we ended off the homestand in good fashion because we dropped the first two games of that homestand, so it was nice to pick up the last two before we went on the road to play Carolina again.
Yeah. And I think that it was a crazy week when they kicked off because of the flu outbreak. You had players that were questionable, what's going to happen, players that were out and sick and couldn't quite make it. And again, this is why this team seriously rocks, because they've got next man up and they've got the chemistry, and this is exactly where we want to see them. So I agree. It was a great game, and should I just go into the next Carolina game?
Yes, indeed. Go into that back to back with the Carolina.
There we go. So then they Caps headed to Carolina 2 days later, and the Hurricanes scored first. But 45 seconds later, Connolly scores his 22nd, assisted by Orpik, to tie it up. And the Hurricanes were the only goal in the second period. And then going into the third, Jacob Vrana scores his 23rd at 1:35 to tie it up, assisted by Kuzi, which was his 49th assist and Juice's 8th. Fantastic. And at 15:04, Nick Dowd gets his 7th to give the Caps a 3-2 win. This one was a little bit more with the, not so great power play. We were 0 for 1. And then just those ridiculous tripping penalties that didn't need to have, but they happened and whatever, but it wasn't anything severe. It wasn't anything, over the top, and it was just, minor things that stood out. But again, it was good. I think Carolina's going to be a tough team in the next year or two for sure. They're up there now. I just think that they're just going to get better. So I think that the Capitals playing them as well as they did is good for us. So it was fantastic for us, I should say.
Yeah, it's definitely saying this team is rounded in the form. Like I just said, they were down 2-1 going into the third, and they played lockdown defense and found the way to win, to score late to get the victory. So, Carolina is a tough team. They are fighting for their playoff lives also, and if they get in the playoffs, they're definitely going to be a tough matchup. But I'm liking what I'm seeing from the Caps. You got Rana with his 23rd. You got Dowd with his 7th. Conley with his 22nd. That's what I was just talking about, the secondary scoring. That's key in the playoffs, and we saw that last year with this team, getting contributions from, Robbie's favorite player, Andre Burakovsky, with 2 goals against Tampa. And, you're getting contributions from Tom Wilson, from Eller, from Oshie, from Backstrom. So you get contributions from the whole team, and that's what makes this team very hard to beat, when you can get scoring from up and down all 4 of the lines, and not even mentioning Hagelin, how well he's been playing since he's came over. Jensen has been stellar on defense. So this is another year where they've made some quiet moves at the trade deadline that's made this team better and solidified them as a whole. And that's why I see this team, going far in these playoffs and maybe, doing the back-to-back thing. Robbie, what did you take away from this back-to-back Carolina game?
Yeah, and I just want to piggyback just 1 second off of that comment. I'm really happy that we got someone like a Jensen, and we were able to shore up some defensive situations, especially with Kempny getting hurt. Like you can never have too many good defensive players, so especially ones that you can lock up for a good contract for the future. And he's still young, and he's got a lot of great upside. But going into that Carolina game, I thought Verona was just phenomenal in that game. Is just speed. Obviously, it was a huge goal since they were down 2-1 going into the third. It really kind of changed the momentum in that game. And then Nick Dowd has been playing phenomenal. So, I mean, obviously to get the win, it was really big. But obviously, I want to get into the next game because that's the one that's a rematch of the Eastern Conference Finals, and what everyone is talking about is the best potential matchup of the NHL playoffs.
All right, Anna, you heard it, man. Let's talk about that Tampa game.
I'm ready. And I even have like a little asterisk saying it's Saturday, my favorite game of the week, hands down. Here we go, Caps in Tampa Bay. So the Caps dominated the first period with Backstrom scoring his 20th, followed by Oshie's backhanded goal and a power play goal to give the Caps a 3-0 lead in the first period. What a kick-ass way to start the game. In the second period, at 7:53, Backstrom scores again with assists by Orlov and Stevenson. And then the Lightning close out the second with a Miller tip-in. Third period, open with a Johnson wrister, but followed by the captain getting his 50th at 14:35 and a power play goal at 16:15, assisted by Carlson and Kuzi. And then to close it out at 19:32, we'll just say the Lightning scores. The Caps will get the win 6-3. Kucherov. I don't want. He's one of those players that is so damn good that I still don't like him. But yes, he did score at 19:32.
Oh man, Robbie, you want to break down this game first, and I finish up, or you want me to go first? Because this game meant a lot to me.
Yeah, I'll start off first. It was a great game. I mean, first of all, we've talked about it time and time again, just how much I love Nick Backstrom. I'm so happy he got to the 20-goal mark. Also, got 50 assists. It's a big thing to be able to do both of those. And so that's really kind of cool. And then obviously we've talked a lot about TJ Oshie getting 2 goals right back to back like that. And then Backstrom getting his 21st. And then obviously then a big punch happened. And we've got more Tom Wilson news in a second. And then but I mean he really leveled that guy. But the guy stood up and took it. I mean, and I like that Tom Wilson caught him as he dropped. And then right after, I mean, it just got everybody going, and Ovi scoring 50, and then right away you sort of saw that go off his back. He finally was able to reach 50. He just was shy of it last year by 1 goal, and then he was able to get 51 on a power play less than 100 seconds later, and then Kucherov unfortunately scores. But overall, 6-3, an amazing win. I'm just so happy we didn't get swept by Tampa Bay, and it puts just a little bit of doubt in their minds if we have to play them again. I just think that sweeping the season series versus winning like that, I think it was really exciting. So I'll let you, Carol, you break it down and give your thoughts.
This was a major statement game for this Capitals team because this was the third time they played this team in a 2-week span. In the first 2 games, Tampa pretty much had their way with the Capitals. And with the season being almost over and this team coming out and basically steamrolling them in Tampa, and then you got Backstrom scoring 2, Ovi scoring 2, and Oshie scoring 2. To me, that was a statement by this team. Like, okay, y'all won the President's Trophy. Yeah, you had the presentation. Yeah, Stamkos, you got the, all-time leader in goal scoring in Tampa Bay. But remember, we beat that ass in 7 on home ice. So we're going to come in here with all that celebration, and we're going to beat that ass again. And that's what I love, the physicality of that game, the fact that it was 3-0 after the first. You basically took their soul and the home crowd out of that game and let them know, okay, we saw what you did. We know you got a good squad. We know you improved your team. And, yeah, you beat us, the first 2 games, but we got 4 games left in the season, currently now 2 since they play in Florida. But we're going to let y'all know we are the Stanley Cup champions. And I love that Ovi said that at the end of the interview that he gave on NHL Network and on Xfinity or whatever other channel they suck on. But he was saying that, we wanted to let them know that we're the Stanley Cup champions, that we beat them in one of the best playoff, Eastern Conference Finals that, has been played in a while, and we just wanted to let them know. And I need to see that, and I love seeing that from this team to let them know that, hey, we know what y'all gonna do. We know we're probably gonna see y'all again in the playoffs, but just remember, we still the Stanley Cup champions, and we beat that ass in 7 on your home ice. So we can do it whenever we want to. So now, game on, 2 games left. Let's play.
Oh, absolutely. And I think that this was like they went in just fired up, ready to go. We'll never say that they're the underdog, but they lost the 2 games prior to it, and it's like, okay, what is it going to take? We just have to prove ourselves, and that was it. They came out, and this to me was, 60 minutes of hockey. Sorry about that. We needed to see. They looked like they were having fun. They were, I don't know, it was just that the groove was right. Everything was good. And, Orpik started the fight, had his moment, and then, of course, we have Tommy. I mean, just don't mess with him. He's just a beast, and he's the best. And that's it. So Tommy did what he had to do, and, the penalty wasn't extreme, and he wasn't suspended, and the guy lost a tooth, and hey, welcome to hockey. So it was hands down my favorite game the whole week.
Robbie has an additional comment to this game. I didn't even get into the Tom Wilson fight because I wish I normally see all of his fights, and I was upset that I didn't see it. Robbie put up a great video with the punch. I saw it on NHL Network later on, but I love seeing him in game live. But his right is ridiculous. That's why, unfortunately, in the playoffs you don't see as many fights. So I know that's probably the last fight we're going to see from him, until next year. But that right is ridiculous, man. He put him to sleep just like he put the dude to sleep before him. So it was a beautiful thing, man. I love my man. So I got to give me a Tom Wilson jersey. That's all I got to say. Robbie, what you got to wrap this Capital segment up?
Right, so no, I totally agree. I mean, Tom Wilson crushed that guy with that punch. I still think he may have one more fight in him. We're still playing the Islanders on Saturday, and we still want to win this. And there's quarterback, and there's a lot of bad blood, and so I can see one more fight in him on Saturday. I'm not going to count it out just yet. I'd be excited to see, but we'll talk about it in a little bit. But the last Tom Wilson thing I had to talk about was I heard that he was going to be in a magazine shoot. Anna, want to let Carol know about the breaking news?
Yes, so this just made my day and probably my year. For a friend of mine contacted me about a mutual friend that has a ESPN connection and whatnot, and that whole body issue. They want to focus on Tom Wilson, but they want to focus on the lighter side of him and not so much the fighting, but him just kicking ass as a player and how far he's come. And then, of course, it involves a photo shoot. So, I don't know, Carol, if I'm not available, I think I may tell my friend to invite you, and you could take pictures, and then we could talk about it.
It depends on what kind of photo shoot this is. If the shirt's off and stuff, I'll let you go. If it's hockey apparel, I'll go take some snapshots. But if he, all oiled up with no shirt on, I think I'll pass. I'll wait for the Twitter pictures to come out. But I appreciate it, though.
No birthday suit? Come on. I'm Wilson in a birthday suit.
Whoa.
I'm kidding. But then you can get your
April Fool. I just.
Hey, yeah, we about to fall off the rails over here. I've been drinking adult beverages like whoa.
We had to play one on you just because having season premiere on April Fools.
Well. All I got to say is I got to empty the bladder, so let's go and wrap this segment up because I got to go because I didn't drink like 3 of these beers and I've been sipping tonight. Season 4 premiere. I'm getting turned up in the lab and I got to empty the bladder for the music break, and that's why we have the music break, ladies and gentlemen, so we can use the bathroom and take a break in the middle of the show. The secret is out.
Yeah, the secret is out. That's it. And there's Tom Wilson's birthday suit, and if there happens to be a photo shoot, I'll take one to the team. I'll go.
Okay.
No problem. That'll be your assignment. No hands down.
But I'll get your jersey signed.
We're going to let Anna go, but I do want to talk real quickly, Carol, about the upcoming schedule. But Anna, I really really appreciate, as always, for joining us, and I'm looking forward to coming on Power Play Point podcast tomorrow. We'll tape it Tuesday. It should be released, later on the week, and it should be a fun show, and I look forward to doing it with you and Kill, and it's been a while since I've been on the podcast. I'm not even sure I've been on since we're Stanley Cup champions, so that'll be a fun show.
You'll be on episode 101, and super excited to talk to you. I think 7:30 tomorrow night. Is that what you guys decided?
Yeah, you killed it with episode 100, by the way, the all-female episode. If anyone missed it, they can go to sportsothb.com, click on the Power Play Point podcast, and then it's the top episode there, and then this episode we're talking about will be up later in the week. But Anna, thanks again. It was fun pranking Carol, and we'll talk to you next week.
Yeah, well, I'll talk to you tomorrow, and then do Sports on the Hill next week. Have a great rest of the week, and let's go Caps. Let's hope they take out the Panthers tonight.
Yes, indeed.
Oh, boy.
All right.
I'll talk to you guys later.
All right, Anna, you have a good night. Appreciate it as always. All right, Robbie.
So real quick.
Go ahead and get the schedule real quick, man. I got a full bladder over here, baby.
All right, well, you can, okay, that's fine. We got the April, it's got 3 games, got the Florida game, we're now down 1-0 in the intermission. We have Montreal, 7 o'clock Thursday, and then I'll be going to the Islanders game Saturday, April 6th, 7 o'clock. It's the season finale. Hopefully it won't mean it's for the division. Hopefully it means that we will have clinched before that, but it could be the division if not, and I'll definitely do a vlog if we're able to win, and I'll let Carol go to the bathroom, so we'll do our music break.
All right, appreciate it. About to end the Facebook live feed now. Appreciate all the questions, comments, and appreciate y'all tuning in. Definitely have it uploaded on the YouTube channel along with